Welcome back to Out and About. Ketna Patel is a renowned artist, and recently she held a very special evening showcasing art and music.
Well, I've moved back to the UK after many years living abroad, and I've moved back to the same house that I grew up in. And I've come here to find there's not much art and cultural activity happening in the suburbs. Everything's happening in central London. So I just wanted to stir the pot with a big wooden spoon and just try and, it's a bit of a social experiment, try and mix up people from different backgrounds, friends of mine, artists, writers, musicians. We've got a dancer, we've got architects, designers, just and see what happens when you bring people together. Even the food is being cooked by two chef friends of mine, both from Singapore. So there's a little bit of the past meeting the present, and hopefully it's going to go into its own direction in the future.
It's just wonderful to be invited to such a colourful, jolly event and to meet Ketna and to see what's happening here between India and the UK and to see Indian culture, because I've just recently come back from India and it makes me feel warm and at home to be surrounded by all this Indian culture. It's a wonderful thing.
Well, I haven't finished the journey. It's still halfway. But I'm an architect and an interior designer by profession. And I think just working in corporations for too long kind of killed my soul. And so I've always painted. I've always done the rangolis at home, and I've always painted from a very young age. And living in Singapore, which is a very expensive country, when I quit my job, I had to make ends meet, and I got a contract for doing art for hotels, and then that just set me up. One thing led to another, and you just, I stayed loyal to my passion. I met some incredible people, and what was really interesting was the house that I lived in Singapore organically became like a creative laboratory. It became like a crossroads. It was a commune for 10 people. And people from all sorts of backgrounds came and lived there for a while. They did workshops, we did exhibitions. And that's the type of thing I hope has inspired this evening, that if you just let the energy do its own thing, what can cross-pollination look like?
it's a very unique evening because, there's art, there's visual arts, there's also music, and it's to do with Persia. It's themed around Persia. And so we're just trying to tie in Indian classical music with the influence of Persia. Abhishek can tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, for me it's especially different because there's a new audience today. Like, these people probably haven't heard Indian classical music as much, or maybe ever. So for me to introduce them to the music and to introduce them to the influences of the Middle Eastern and Persian culture into India, that's what I've been looking forward to also.
I think being open is really important, especially we're in, this is happening in London, and London is one of the most multicultural places in the world, and I think the more open that we are, more open that we are to accepting and including other cultures, and it's just a step towards trying to understand other people's cultures and their traditions and where they come from.
Well, our heartiest congratulations to Ketna Patel for organising that event. That's all we've got time for in this week's programme, but we'll be back at the same time, same place next week. So until then, viewers, have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.